Hi everybody, welcome to week 15. We are almost to the end of the semester and I'm guessing that you're all looking forward to being finished with online classes and getting to summer, and I hope things have been going okay for this past week. This is our last week before you're posting your final project presentations. I wish we were all sitting in class and watching each other present and that I could bring donuts. But here we are. So what I'm asking you to do is upload your presentation onto the media gallery that I've posted for our class, and to watch 6 of your classmates' presentations or more. And I'm going to set up a discussion board in our week 16 module folder where you can make comments on the presentations that you watched. And I want you to do those presentations in a constructive, supportive way. So what did you learn from it? What was interesting about it? I don't think we are needing any negative feedback at the moment. I think just what's interesting about it and what does it make you think of, and other connections to medical anthropology. So in that discussion board, you can say, I watched, John Smith's presentation and here's what I thought was really interesting about it. So do that for 6 of your classmates' posts next week. And that can run into the week after as well. Your final project or paper is due on the 5th. I posted a rubric, which I'm going to show you for the final paper option. So here's our class page on bblearn. And you're going to go to the final project. And in that assignment folder, there's a PDF of the final paper presentation rubric. So I want you to make sure that as you're writing up your final paper or doing your final project, that you review this rubric really carefully. So the final project, if you're doing an alternative project, is going to be a little bit different, but most of these rubric scores are going to be similar. So you should have some kind of an introduction. So if you're doing a podcast, your introduction should start out by introducing what you're doing. This should be well researched. If you decided to interview people or do a different kind of research other than literature review for your project, well researched could mean that you did a good job of doing that research and maybe putting it in some context. I want you to include a reflection on your own biases. So be reflexive. How did they impact your approach? Why did you choose this topic? How might your choice be impacted by your own personal views? I want you to reflect on that, whether you're doing a project or a paper, somewhere in there. You should provide a clear and detailed description of how anthropology can or has contributed to understanding your topic. So whatever you're doing, final paper or final project, the links, the connections to medical anthropology should be very clear. It should be from a medical anthropology perspective. So if you're writing a paper on the COVID-19 pandemic and you just tell me all about the epidemiology of it, that's not a medical anthropology perspective. So I'm looking for something specific to the topics that we've been over in this class. So your paper should include citations of class readings. Look at the announcement that I posted on how to make sure that you're giving proper credit to the actual author of the articles that you're citing. If you're doing a podcast, if you're doing a poster, or if you're doing something else, you need to also mention how it links to medical anthropology in an engaging way. So you could say, we found this and it relates to this book by Anne Fodiman that she describes a Hmong family. Or you can say it relates to Arthur Kleinman's idea about illness narratives, and here's how. But you do need to have those medical anthropology links in there. So make sure you have those. You should provide a clear, thought-out explanation of how your topic relates to those broader themes in medical anthropology. So whether you're doing a paper or a project, these kind of overview, overarching things that I'm going to be looking for are basically the same. You might do it a little bit differently if you're doing an alternative project, but you need to be thinking about that. Highlight in the conclusion. So if you're doing a paper, your paper should have a conclusion section where you provide a summary of the topics covered from an anthropological perspective. You highlight the wider implications of your topic for anthropology and health. What does it help us learn? What would a better understanding of your topic tell us that could improve future research, that could help us understand culture, that could help us understand healthcare? What do we learn from your topic? So make sure your conclusion or your concluding remarks or at the end of your project somehow kind of covers those bases also. The formatting, grammar, spelling, and citations are mostly for if you're going to be writing a paper. In your past papers, you noted hopefully that I have been looking for proper in-text citations and a bibliography at the end that matches those in-text citations. If you're not clear on how to do in-text citations, you can let me know, or you can consult the Chicago Manual of Style that's linked in the final paper box. Make sure that you have already been thinking about how you're going to do your final presentation and upload that to our media gallery. So our media gallery, I'll show you in a minute. But first, your final presentation is worth 15 points. So your audio, video presentation should include a clear, engaging summary of your topics and findings. It should be about 5 or 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes. People are having trouble probably watching all the videos that they're watching already. So keep it short. About 5 minutes would be good. Mostly focusing on, you can either present, if you did an audio-visual final project, you can present that to us. If you did a paper, maybe a 5-minute PowerPoint video or video of yourself talking about it, or some kind of audio-visual presentation of it to the class, especially how it relates to medical anthropology. It should be engaging and it should be understandable, and most of all, it should teach them something about medical anthropology that you learned from it. All right, so going back, the media gallery is right here on the left sidebar. So when you go in the media gallery, it'll take a second to load. So if you just click on it and then click away, it'll look like it's empty. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna click on Add Media, and then you're going to see, I've been experimenting. So I have a couple of videos in here that I will take out, but you're gonna click right up at the right where it says Add New, and you're gonna do Media Upload. Then you're gonna read through their little terms and conditions, making sure that you have permission to upload it, that it's not featuring minors or anything like that. You say, I agree, and then you can choose your file to upload. So I could go into my files and I can upload my video. And just note that Kaltura is a little bit slow. So if it doesn't load right away, just wait a minute. So it loads it, and then you should put your name here where it says name, and then the title of your project, and then enter a brief description of what you did, what kind of a project it is. And then you can tag it with our class name ANT480, and then you would hit save. And then it should go onto our main page. If you have any trouble with that, please let me know. But I wouldn't recommend doing Kaltura Capture to record your video right in here. I would recommend making a video first and then uploading it here. Kaltura, I've found it a little bit fussy, so make sure that you have your video uploaded some way that you are sure you have it. So I'm using Zoom right now. Zoom has some easy ways to share your screen, to be able to record yourself, and it's been working pretty well. So we all have access to Zoom. You could do a PowerPoint where you share your screen. You could just have a video of yourself talking. So what you do is basically set up your own Zoom meeting where you're the host and you don't invite anybody else. And then down at the bottom, there's a button that has a little circle, and it allows you to start recording. You can record it to your computer, and then it will make it into a file like I showed you when I was uploading mine. So it just makes it into a video file that you can upload to YouTube, or you can upload straight onto our media gallery page. So I'm just gonna show you, see if I can show you here. Nope, it's not gonna let me do that. So in my meeting controls, is where it would be. So if you have trouble with that, you can let me know. You can also use PowerPoint if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, and you can just record your narrative right over the PowerPoint presentation. It's okay if we can't see your face. It's a little bit, sometimes people say, more engaging if you can see the person's face. But for the purposes of this, I just want you to share your project with us in whatever way is most feasible to you. So if you want to record yourself on a video on your phone and post that, as long as you have covered those basic elements in the rubric, that would be fine. So for this week, we're wrapping up. This would have been watching final presentations this week. So what I'm asking you to do as an activity for this week is I want you to find a movie that deals with a health theme. And I've posted in our class folder a link to IMDb, the kind of movie overview website that has a huge long list of all the movies they could come up with that deal with any kind of health topic. So there's things about mental health, there's things about other health issues. So I'd like you to watch whatever movie you can get a hold of. You can find probably some full-length movies on YouTube. You can find them on Films on Demand if you need to. You can probably find some through the library website. Maybe you have some. There's lots and lots of them on Netflix if you have access to that. So however you can access movies that are about health, they don't have to be in that list. That's just to get you started thinking about it. But I want you to watch a movie that deals with a health topic and kind of analyze it as a medical anthropologist, as a medical anthropology student. What does the movie, how are they portraying ideas about illness? How does it reinforce cultural stereotypes? How does it challenge cultural stereotypes? I want you to watch the movie kind of thinking about medical anthropology and how movies reinforce our ideas about illness and the sick role, and then also how the particular movie that you watched, whether it did a good job or a bad job of sort of portraying the actual context of illness, or whether it reinforced cultural stereotypes in a way that you think should be critiqued. So what I want you to do is watch your movie, take your notes, and then just write a brief, maybe a few lines on our discussion board for this week about what your movie was, kind of what's the overview, and then your observations about it from those perspectives. It doesn't have to be super long. It's just kind of a thought experiment to think about what you can do with what you've learned in medical anthropology over the course of the semester and how it can kind of broaden your worldview for as you go into life from here. What can it offer in terms of perspectives? And then also thinking about how do we engage in society and culture through media. So I'll be interested to see what you come up with and what movies you chose and what you think about them. Please, as usual, feel free to email me if you're having trouble. We can set up a Zoom meeting. I'm happy to talk over Zoom. I'm happy to email you. So please stay in touch with me if you're having any issues, or if you just want to set up a time to chat. I'm happy to do that. And I hope that you have a great week.